Got a bit of a problem. This is a normal UK 3-pin plug, but it's got damaged, and whenever you pull it out the wall, that happens, which leaves the cables exposed, and that's quite dangerous. So I'm going to show you how to replace basically a plug. This is a skill that at one time everybody knew, but because everything comes with a plug already fitted, it's not something you really learn anymore. So I thought I'd put together a quick video just replacing this plug with a new one, or it's not completely new, it's something I've had for a while, but we're going to use this one instead of this one, which is obviously not safe to use anymore. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is just release this. That's actually what held this plate in position. It's now completely broken. So I'm just taking that out, and that lets you see the inside of the plug. Now, in the UK we have a 240 volt system. We have got live, neutral and earth. So in this position here, this is a live, and you can tell it's a live because that's where the fuse is. The fuse is always on the live in the plug. The earth is always the top pin, and the neutral is the pin that's there. It's pretty simple, there's not a lot to it, but you need to wire them up. Obviously the correct cables have to go to the correct locations. Now, as well as, you know, the fuse being at the live, there's also, if you look at the front, there is small marks. So you've got an N etched in, L for live, N for neutral and E for earth. So you've got that to show you where these cables go. These cables are coloured up to the modern colours. When I say modern, it's after 2000, I think, around about that sort of year. We went to brown for live, blue for neutral, and the green one, the green and yellow's earth. So you can see there, green and yellow. So those are the colours of most of the modern appliances. You might come across red and black. Red would be the live and black's the neutral. Just be aware that there could be different colours within the plug, but generally blue's neutral, brown's live. All you do is I'm going to just release the main cable first. Just get a bit of loose on that, so you just loosen it off a wee bit. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to undo it completely, just enough, and then you can see I can move that cable. So then just undo these, one, that's the earth, and then you can pull it out using your screwdriver, and then the neutral and the live. And now we should be able to just pull these out, just gently pull them out, okay, and then pull out the whole thing. So here we have the neutral, live, earth. So I'm going to prepare the new plug. Just basically take the back off again. So you just put this down here. To do that, just undo this screw. And then this is quite an old plug that's not been used for a while, so just check the insides, make sure it's all good. So we've got a fuse, and we've got this is where the neutral goes, obviously, the live and the earth. So we just need to get the cable in there. Now, if you were doing this from scratch, you have to cut the cable to length. So how I do that? How I would do that is just set that in position and see what length we need to cut these wires roughly to the length that we need. It would actually sit like that. So you can see there that these are actually going to fit in quite nicely. So if you were starting with a new cable, you obviously have to strip the outer sheath off. Now these ones are already done, so I'm just going to put them straight into the plug. If you were just replacing a plug, you probably have the same. So just undo these so that you can actually see that the hole is bigger. Don't undo them completely or they'll fall out and you can lose these tiny wee screws. It's a real nuisance if you do. You could probably use one at your old plug if it's broken like ours. I like to start with a live one because that is the trickiest one to get in my opinion. I've not undone that properly, so just open it right up. Now the live, to get the live one in, you can actually do a wee trick. You can push the pin. So you can push this pin and it raises it up like that, and you can see in there much easier, and you can get your cable in much better. So sometimes it's good just to push it up, get your cable in, push it down, because sometimes if it's like that, there we go, so just push that down. So these cables actually have crimped ends. I don't know if you can see that. They actually have crimped ends, so you don't get the cable splaying. And what you want to do is make sure all the cables, this is a multi-core cable, it's not solid, so you want to make sure that all the wee bits of copper are nice and tight, just like that. So for the neutral, when you're putting the neutral in, you can pop that up. It just makes it a wee bit easier to get that neutral wire in. You can pop that in. If you've opened it up right, it'll go in nice and easy. Again, just make sure you've opened that right up. Put in your neutral, down. Okay, and tighten it up, holding the wire in position. Okay, make sure they're quite tight. So that's a live and neutral done. That's a live and neutral. I'm just going to do the earth. Again, you can just push this a wee bit. These ones are quite stiff, but they do move. And it just lets you see this hole here, and it's much easier. You can see that the screw is just a wee bit low, so you can just open it up a wee bit, and we stick the earth in there. And the reason I'm sort of sticking it down is just making sure it's going to fit into position. So I'll just squeeze it down. You can see it's just touching a wee bit there, so I'm just, there we go, that's it in. Tighten that up, tighten it really tight. Make sure they've got good grip of the cables. Obviously don't over tighten it, you can ruin the threads, but you want it quite tight, these things. There we go, and now this is ready to lay in. So I just lay in the cable. Okay, so take my wee screw, push it through. So this is for holding the main cable. So just screw them up. What you do is do a wee bit both sides, so you want to do a couple of turns, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just make sure your cable's located properly, and that when you put the back on, it's all going to work. Okay, make sure that's going to work, and then we need to tighten this up a couple of turns each. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2. And that should be really quite tight. That should be really quite tight. You should not be able to really pull that at all. This is in case you trip over the cable or something and you really pull that. It shouldn't move. It shouldn't pull out of these terminals. So it should all be nice and tight. Just make sure your cables are sitting nice and flush like that, so that you can get the back on without any resistance. So this should really just clip on. So just make sure that everything is nice and tight. Right, so now put the back on. And it should be nice and, make sure it's nice and even around the edges. And then just tighten that screw up. Like so. That's us good to go. That's it. Ready to be plugged in and used again. So, hope this helps some of you out there who need to change a plug over. So what I'm going to do now is get my flex ready. So this is the flex I'm using. It's quite a thin flex. It's not going to be powering much. So I want it to be about that length. But you don't want any of the coloured flex showing outside the plug. So you've got to work out how much insulation you want to take off. So I'm going about there. Okay, so that's as far as I want to go. I'm going to take my snips. These actually have built-in strippers in them. You can see the holes, but it doesn't work on this size of flex. So basically what you do is just give it a wee nibble round. You're just lightly going round that plastic. Now you can use a Stanley knife, and basically all you want to do is just break that. You can see I've you're just breaking a wee bit through the actual plastic, and what you can do is either bend it. Sometimes you can use these just to pull it off. So you just pull it gently. So you've got to be really careful that you don't actually get any of the insulation underneath. If there's any copper showing at all, it's useless. You need to start again from scratch. So you can see there I've begun to pull it off. It still needs a wee bit here. See, I'm through to the coloured. You can see there's still a bit there holding. So I'm nearly through. You can just sort of give that a tiny wee nip. So you're really being gentle. You do not want to, as I say, go into that. Go into the copper. So I'm just taking tiny wee bits off. And there we go, that's it. Released. Just pull it off. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So, earth's at the top, live and neutral. So earth at the top, I don't need to take any off that. The live one, I'm going to take a wee bit off that. I'm holding this cable where this grip would hold it, and I'm just checking these for size, and I'm just going to cut them so that they've got plenty on them, but not too much, otherwise it gets really cramped inside the plug. So I'm taking a wee bit off the neutral. I'll take a wee bit off the live. Probably your live's usually about the shortest one, because it's almost straight in. And just measure up against, and there you go. You can see that's the lengths we need. Now I'm going to just strip these down. So hopefully, this cable's quite thin, so hopefully this will be able to strip, make my life a bit easier. There you go. You just again strip these off. 1, 2. So all you're doing is about just basically a few mil, just so you can actually get them into the terminals. So again, to make it easier, and that's basically how you strip a cable and get it ready for fitting in the plug.